So, Jerry, I have created a request for it.
I didn't quite hear you. You were working on which?
SQL injection.
Oh, SQL injection. Okay.
So, and we need to prevent each and every query inside our project. So, I'm doing that. I have created pull request, Jerry. So, can you please review it and we can merge it? Okay, looks good.
Looking up.
It is in progress. I will take one more day.
Okay.
Yes.
What else?
Yeah, that's it. That's only. And yesterday, in the staff stand-up, I Wells required offset face things that are already provided yesterday itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Amir.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Jerry, let's get your update.
Hey, let me get web page loaded real quick. So it's prepping in window. Is it this one? Okay. So I mean, we're still working on this. One question I've had is about this, John.
Mm-hmm.
Is okay. I know spacings. I know I still got spacing to do. Like the button is not aligned, but this text, really got a great experience. That goes below the button, right? Because I see it's also above the button in this design.
No, we're going. Those were just alternatives. We're going with the one where it's below the button.
Below the button. Okay, so like it is now. Okay. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna work on cleaning this up a little more. We're getting there. I see the phone is a little bigger on this one. The phone is fun because the phone, this isn't a picture. Like this is a picture here. So it's just the screenshot of the app, whereas this is components that build. So this is not from the app. This is trying to reconstruct the app in HTML.
Yeah. So, I know. I can imagine.
So,
can you? Yeah, it's getting there. Can you copy or mimic see where it says +99 on that one, and then like on there?
Yeah, just that you're talking about like you want the gray with the white text.
Yeah. And then the share button should be in the check-in icon. Should be like a little smaller.
Yeah.
Our design.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna push that gradient up. Now that check-in button, this is what it is in the app. I grabbed this from the app source code. This pin, I don't know why this pin is different, but it's actually from the app.
Okay, interesting.
So okay, some more things because compute like this text is as it appears in the app. The icon is how it appears.
Mm-hmm.
So is the favorites. So everything now the share button. Maybe this is from an older version of the app because the share button in the app is actually blue.
Yeah, no, we experimented with both, but I kind of like how it came out with Chantel's the Figma design here. So let's go with it. It's like a nice balance, as close as you can get to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
There's even like a black line, a border between where it says "tech to you" and the very small print at the bottom of the image.
Very small print.
Yeah, you just had it on the image. So the image of "tech to you." So right there. Like if you look at the Figma design, see how there's like a black border kind of around the whole image. Yeah, I don't know that was intentional, but it works. I kind of like it.
Okay.
It's like cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking in the app, and there kind of is a black. I don't know that how it manifests, but it does appear to have like a dark black around the very bottom part.
It's not a black. It's like a gradient. It's a black gradient from the bottom.
Yeah. So the gradient maybe just all it's missing then.
Yeah, so you would prefer
You don't want the gradient because, like, what if the background is white, the image is white? You know.
So you would prefer the gradient, or you want the black line?
I just want to try and get it as close to that Figma design as possible.
Okay, so you're taking the Figma design over what's in the app.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind because I am cross-referencing the app and stuff.
Yeah, no, go stick with what's on Figma.
Okay. I'm gonna need that if we're using that pin drop for the check-in button. I mean, the pin right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna need that, but this is just a static image. Chantel, if you could send me that pin with the check, and I could spot that out.
You got it.
Thank you. And then we get this. Okay. So, yep. And work with Ayad, getting him in test flight right now. We're checking the check-in integration. So something with like the Square POS discounts and stuff. Yep.
What's the status there?
So it's in QA. With the way it works, we have a webhook that we are triggering from the back end whenever somebody checks in, and then that calls an endpoint that Ayad made. And to my understanding, that runs through the logic of interfacing with Square that a user has checked in to the place.
Okay, great. And how far along is that in terms of like functional?
He has access into test flight. Danny got him access to, well, really he's on Android, but test flight, and he's going to work and do some testing on there. He has something deployed. He's just running through some things.
Okay. Okay, cool. Great.
Landing page. And one other thing, didn't really finish this, but made a new user management page in the admin.
Okay.
This is for some things if I wanted to, for Chantel, I can look her up and details, and we can just view her information here, high level, and just some things from Chantel that she requested is like badges. So if I want to give her like a rad badge, this isn't QA, but I can give her the rad badge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, built. Is it? Oh.
This looks cool. I'm excited.
Yep. Oh, it's because you already have these badges. Why is it not saying it here? But anyways, then there's the deletion queue. This isn't ready yet, but what we're doing for users that are requesting to delete their account, I'm creating a separate deletion queue that they will be added to and their account will be deleted during the maintenance window. Because I know usually when we're asking to wipe user accounts, it's going to take a few minutes, it's going to cause some issues. It would be best if we did this during the maintenance window.
How risky is this this ability here for someone to hack us? Or like, what if an employee of ours decided to delete everybody's account?
So it adds it to the deletion queue, and this queue runs during the maintenance window.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not instantaneous.
And I think it needs a way to restore. That also needs like safeguards around it.
So to restore, let me think about what's the best way for that, because maybe we could just keep this admin side, maybe from the database if we don't want to have a clickable button here.
Yeah, because that looks really dangerous. It's like a self-destruct button.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, we could have some code that protects this to only like certain users. Like we can hard code it to where it can only be executed from like Chantel's user account, but at the same time, if Chantel's account got compromised, the kind of same thing applies. So
I think all those types of considerations should be, we should implement as many as we can to create layers of protection.
Mm-hmm.
So just think about it. So,
well, In the admin portal, then, if we want them to have access in the admin portal, we should probably do something like 2FA.
Yeah.
We could probably do a 2FA code, and that would at least add an extra layer of security before they go and do these, high risk actions.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
When you hit the add to delete queue, are you presented with something that says, "Are you sure?" by chance? Or is it a right to delete queue?
Let me try.
And once it's in the delete queue, can you remove it from the queue?
I'm gonna need to add a button to remove them from the queue, or maybe like some modal here to say who's in the
Okay.
queue. But yeah, a lot of these actions have confirmation.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah, this is looking good. But just keep an eye on the vulnerabilities.
I understand. Yes. Okay. So clean this up, and we're gonna get this as tight as we can get.
Right. It's looking really good. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that it for now.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jerry. Ismail, let's get your update.
Yeah, so yesterday I started working on that modal. It turned out to be a little trickier than I thought. I ended up using up pretty much my whole day. There's a few edge cases I have to take care of. So what I ended up doing is tracking where we are accessing that flow. So if we access the flow from the compose screen, it will not show the modal, it will just share the profile. Same thing if you access the flow with a one-on-one chat, because that's not a group chat, you can't add people to it. So it would also just share the profile. Now, if you try to do that in a group chat, you would get presented with that modal, and if you click on add the person, it would add it, and if you click on share the profile, it would share it. It was a little tricky getting the add part to work because I had to update the cache properly so it reflects the avatars at the top, and also when you go to the managing the members, it also has to reflect that there. So that was a little tricky to get that to work, and it was a little tricky to get it to know what flow we're coming from. So all in all, after I figured it all out, I had a PR. Sent that over to Amin. I don't know let me see if you got a chance to review it yet. Yeah, I don't think he got a chance to review it yet, but that PR is ready and could be part of the next build.
I mean, will you take a look at that, please?
Now, that being said, I went back to the asynchronous upload and I made really good progress there as well. As I demoed yesterday, now you can leave and come back. Mm-hmm. But now if you leave and come back after it's done sending, it will show the video or picture that was sent. There were some problems with the cache. So there's a few errors that were happening that I had to take care of. So I fixed those, but those led to other errors. So some functionality wasn't working mainly with it had to do with custom topics because it's all connected with the cache. And right now I'm just kind of in the middle of getting all that to work properly. So I'm just kind of refactoring some cache, making sure it's all error free, and there's a few challenges that I have, which are basically if you leave the chat and come back while uploading, it's not there for a while because the cache got cleared, if you remember. Mm-hmm. And then we needed to pop up. But I fixed it where it does pop up after it gets sent. Before it didn't even show even after. But now I need to find a way where it pops up as soon as you go back to the chat. I'll probably store it in like a global state, like the one I'm already using for that status bar. But also that could lead to some side effect. That could lead to some edge cases, I should say, where when do we want to update the cache with that state and so on. So it can get a little tricky. So I'm just trying to see what the best way to do that is for like the best user experience. But yeah, I'm kind of right now in the whole cache loop trying to get all that figured out properly.
Huh. Okay. Do you want
Yeah,
me
it's just with chat, you can only imagine how many moving parts there is, and all that is done via cache, and all that has to work. Like there's no room for error when it comes to updating the cache, so any small error could lead to unexpected behavior. So all these moving parts, I'm refactoring some of them, moving some of them, reconsidering some of them because of the new upload approach. So it's just a little tricky. It's kind of like you have to keep a lot of things mapped in your head, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean, just have it all work perfectly.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that,
I think there's similar challenges around the custom topics. There.
yeah, I mean, I already found some cache errors in custom topics that I'm fixing, so I don't know if that would help. But yeah, I still didn't get any like I didn't get any of the tickets that Chantel and Todd found, but I didn't go to the board and look, I should say. But I will do that as soon as I'm done with this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that'd be probably when you're done. That's good. Next place to go.
Yeah. But good news is, if we want to have a build with the model, if that PR is ready.
Yeah, I want that, and then I think the fixes Amin had done recently, that's merged. Is Wells here? Because did he submit a PR yet for the stuff he was working on?
Not yet, no.
Okay. I wonder if he realizes the time changed. Let me message him. So there's no
He
PR.
sent a message that he's going to be running an hour late because he has a doctor's appointment.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to get his in there.
Yeah, his needed some refactoring, which I explained to him yesterday. So if he followed all the guidelines, it should help with those duplicates and the performance of the list that he was working on. So not much, but yeah, he just needs to basically replace that scroll view with a flash list and fix the pagination.
Okay. All right. We'll chat with him when he gets back. Okay. Thanks, Ismail.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Okay, Amin, how's it going?
Hey, yeah, first part of the day yesterday was looking into the scrolling issue. Seems the first build didn't do it, and we went we just agreed on upgrading flash list, but that turned out it didn't really contribute anything to fix the issue. It looks like, as you said, it looks like as it's like slightly better, but the jumping is still there. There's that, and the other work that I was finishing is like streamlining the favorites flow. If you're invited by business, that's all done. Like we worked on this yesterday. I still have one more thing. It's like I need to test it, and maybe I would need because I rely on the backend for the user action queue. I'm not sure how can I do that, Jerry. Like to have my user action queue return a deep link.
I can queue it for you.
Okay. Do I need to send you a user key?
Yeah, send me a user key, and if you want me to have it go to a profile, I can do that. If there's a specific profile too, let me know.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, with that, my PR is all done. I just need to test it and submit it. And yeah, that's all for me.
Sorry, I was on mute. So you're talking about testing out on the deep link?
Yeah, just need to test it to be sure the work that I did is not breaking anything and it's working as unexpected.
Okay. And where how did you got everything running smooth though with the transitions and all that?
Yeah. The last thing that I was I feel like we broke up. Like the last thing it was like the latte. The favorite latte was like the last part of it. It was like replaying, and I fixed that. Like now it's all smooth.
Okay, good. And the heart animation?
Yeah, that's the heart. That's what I was talking about. I did the heart animation.
Gotcha. How would we be able to test it here, like repeatedly?
I think maybe you can help with that. Like have user actions queue. Like it will add some dip link for your user action. So whenever you go to the onboarding, but it will be get dismissed after you finish onboarding because we dismissed those user action queue.
So maybe if Jerry created like a few different links.
Yeah, yeah. I think Jay can do that from back end. I think as it's needed.
Yeah, just let me know what users we're gonna make it with and what like the user keys and where we want it to go, and I can queue it up.
Does it need a user key? Because like in the real world, it'll be just random people who click the link.
Well, okay, that's another scenario. What if we do open the app? Okay, so there's two flows. There's one if they have the app already and are signed in. The other if they're a new user.
Yeah.
If they already have an app, that's going to have the same logic as clicking a push notification and sending you to the profile page. And that, I think that flow is relatively unchanged with the exception of we're skipping the categories if the profile is claimed. But for a new user that onboards, and if they come through that QR code, I'm tracking their IP address and stuff and the link that they come from, and we're going to send them to that page after they onboard for like a brand new user.
Yeah. So with the flow where it's a new user, there in this first phase of this, it's going to be a user that already has a phone number in the business's database.
Mm-hmm.
So then we know that phone number it's getting invited. So then when they click the link and onboard, they should.
That's going to be queued up after they onboard.
Yeah. So are you able to give us some links as like test cases for different businesses? So like if you gave me 3 different links, they're like tech to you, different locations. Mm-hmm. Delete the app and onboard.
Well, let's see. Oh, okay. We have the phone number. I'd have to change the database logic because they only have it set for people who are brand new users that onboard. So I guess we'll have to handle the case for returning users.
Yeah.
But
well, I talk this through a little bit because there's also a case of a returning user who already had it favorited.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Wait, if they already favored it?
Yeah. But, I mean, there'll be some of that.
What should the page show? It's a good question, actually.
I don't know. Ian, what happens when a business or a user already has a Google review?
They just get sent to update it. So like if they gave us a thumbs up, it sends them back with their 5 stars already populated and what they wrote last time already populated and the submit button if they wanted to save it again. Yeah, we don't have a way to, like, we have access to Google's API, but there's no actual link between the user's Google account and our system. We can't, like, so we don't know who is who, just the cache in their phone does, and Google doesn't allow us to grab that. So yeah, that's the only current option that we have.
Okay. Yeah. So we always have to think about these edge cases. I mean, so like, this won't happen very often, but I'm sure it will happen at some point. What would happen if they got to that screen in onboarding to favorite, but the heart was red? Would they be stuck there?
They will not be stuck there, but because I've tried it, they will just perform another favorite. The mutation will be sent. Nothing will happen, but the user will see the heart animation, and it will be taken back to finish onboarding.
Okay, so the heart would be white originally, and then
It will be red because
it
it's
will be
already,
red.
yeah.
Okay, so if they don't tap it, okay, so they wouldn't see the drawer, the blue drawer that says like if you love it, favorite it, because the heart is already red, right? That
I'm
probably.
not into that, like, because the way how I remember I've done it is like it's not dependent on whether the profile is favorited or not, whether it's the draw is have been visible once, like I've been the user saw or not. If I remember.
Are you sure? Because just today visited a place that I had favorited, did not see the blue drawer, then visited a place I did not have favorited, and then saw it just today.
Oh, that's good. Let me just to be clear, because I don't really remember. I need to look into the requirements.
Okay. So I think you probably did set it up that way, which is fine, but that just means that the user won't see the blue drawer if it's favorited. So then they don't have like the hint. And then if they try and tap anywhere, it'll say, we're just here to favorite, right?
Yeah.
You got that modal in there?
Yeah, it's in there, Tamil.
Okay. So I think we need we need to handle the case. It's such an edge case. Like I don't see this happening anytime soon, but it will happen eventually. But we need to handle the case. And I was thinking like if you tapped on anything there, like you would just go forward. But why even show the page if it's already favorited?
We could we could change the flow completely. We don't necessarily have to even choose this path. We can redirect them before they ever even go to the app. With the core system, specifically in Field 3, I already have identified what users in Field 3, what customers in Field 3 have favorited Tech2U. We already have that logic built in, and it updates daily.
Okay.
So in the event that we're going to trigger a core system message to the user, we could take a completely different approach. I don't even have to send them a text or an email.
Or you ask them to check in.
Could ask them to check in, of course. Anything. We can write whatever we want. I can have basically what I would do is I would just say, before we send them the core link, we modify our script so it says if they have not already favorited us, then send them the core link that we've been talking about building this entire time. But if they have already favorited us, then don't send them that link. Instead, send them this other text, email, whatever.
Okay, hold that thought. I want to take a deep dive with these guys and you, all of us, into this. I think we can let Amit drop off. But hey, Amit, I have a question. I remember yesterday, Wells was missing. Ismail, can you help me remember? Wells was missing something. I forget the terminology. Offset. Yeah.
That we're starting yesterday possibly. Yesterday I provided him. Yesterday itself.
Well, no, after you dropped for the day, so hours later, like you would have been asleep.
No, he didn't ping me anything. See,
I think Ahmed was with us when you were talking about the offset.
Yes. That time I was with you. See here.
Well,
yesterday.
Yeah, because if what's his name? If Wells has the offset, he has everything he needs to complete that flow.
Okay.
See, I provided him.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah. So did you provide that today?
No, yesterday itself. After stand up, like
I thought by the time you dropped, you said
no, I was in the call. I was in the call when Ismail explaining him. You can refer to file plus tip. There backend is turning offset, next offset.
Okay.
I was in the call that time.
Okay. Okay. So he has everything he needs?
Yes, he has everything he needs. And after that, I did not receive any message from him. 12:20.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that's good. All right. Then, I guess, that's all for now. Does anybody have any questions for Amit? Anybody need anything? So,
Just PR. So
yeah, you're gonna approve that?
I merged it. It looks good.
All right.
Yeah, I will create one more PRGD.
All right.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Thanks, Amit. Have a good one.
Yeah, have a good day.
See you tomorrow. Okay, so let's take a dive into this a little bit. All right. We're gonna know if a customer has a favorite already existing. This you're saying, Ian?
Yeah, we know that now, actually. In field 3, I already have alerts on customer profiles if they've favorited tech to you, and then I also show what their current level is.
Interesting. This is cool. Okay.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Definitely. Is this going to be similar to our Square integration?
No, I don't. Not really. Field 3, we have infinite capability to do basically anything you can imagine because we built all of it and control it. But Square,
it's not
maybe.
So to the clerk, let's say, like someone working at the cash register at the XYZ business, it's not like they need to know. It's more behind the scenes that
I agree. Yeah.
The right flow. Would we be able to at least do that?
That's what I was thinking of when you asked. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, I could think of a way it can be done. Yeah. Basically, we would need to store some additional data on our end. What you're getting at now is utilizing the core system.
Well, there's two ways. We could do it from the core system, or we could do it from the landing page that Jerry makes, because once they get there, they were invited. So this is, again, presuming the business has their phone number. So we'll stick with this easier case scenario.
Yeah.
So they have their phone number, and the deep link is text to them, so it's very unique to them. And that phone number, we know the database knows who that belongs to that phone number, and they know if that person has it favorited already. So I don't think it needs to even be in Square at that point, right? If we only care about the flow that they see.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think that I'm trying to think if missing anything here, but I don't see any reason why we couldn't identify. Now, just to be clear, are we talking about specifically the reputation funnel process for businesses that are not tech to you, or are we talking about other processes as well?
The reputational funnel.
Okay, so yeah, right. So if all we're talking about is the reputation funnel, then I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to do the exact same thing. We would just need to store some more data on the Sircles side. So basically, if a person has favorited us and we have their phone number, we already know that information. So when we have a reason to trigger a reputation funnel text or email, our script that executes on that will do a check. If the user has already favorited the business that the reputation funnel is coming from, then we send them a different message, which has a completely different flow than the message we would send if they are not currently even in the app. Or even a third one is, what if they're in the app and haven't favorited the business? So we could create completely different flows for each path. Again, assuming we have the phone number, there's no reason we can't do any level of unique customization for the whole flow.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's go down to the basic level. So if we roll this out tomorrow, we have a text message with a deep link. If the user has never downloaded, that's the straightforward approach. It's going to take them to download. The onboarding should trigger their the business profile as Amin has created. Did you say that PR is ready for review?
Not ready for review, but like I'm about to test it. But like the work is done, I just need to test it and see if I can adjust anything.
Okay. Can we watch while you're doing that? Because I want everyone to get a sense like how this is working too. It's easier to visualize. Okay. Okay. So this work it means doing will bring them to the business profile very quickly in the onboarding, but if Jerry can do some finessing on that landing page, we could redirect the flow, right? So they don't see, because if they've already favorited it, we don't want that flow, right, Jerry?
Yeah.
And you could determine that, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then what are our options? Like a different flow, right?
I guess whatever we can think of.
So there'd be two possibilities: they have the app installed or don't have the app installed. And so if they have the app installed and favorited, it'll ask them to open the app. So then maybe we shortcut them to like checking in, okay? But if they don't have the app installed, we still want them to install it. But then, of course, they're going to bypass this flow that Amin is putting forward. So they'll be bypassed. They'll still onboard, bypass it, but then maybe land on the business profile at the end. We ask them to check in, or maybe we use the same flow Amin has, but rather than favoriting, we ask them to check in. I don't know. Or we thank them for their support, like you already have this text you favorited. Ian, help me out. I got a lot on my mind. What do you think we should do?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about it as you're talking it through. And I mean, I think that the only logical thing to do is to ask them to do a check-in. It's different than the flow that, like our current core system triggers the day after their invoice is generated. So nothing happens same day. Now that said, it doesn't need to be that way. I would like to keep Tech2U running that way, but if we're effectively talking about creating a core system that's going to run on Sircles end. And the core system itself is actually a very, very simple program. It just runs through a script every day. There's a cron job that runs it, and then it executes on sending out text messages or emails based on the contents of what it found. So we modify what it sends based on our script. Our script would be very simple for the first thing, sending people a request to favorite a business if they haven't already done that. If we identify that they have, I think the only thing that we can do is ask them to check in, because I don't know of any other creative things that we have in our app besides sharing that business with friends. And that might be a tall ask potentially.
Actually, the first question was, would you recommend this business?
That's true. That's true. I mean, favoriting it does do that, but you're right that could be like the second part of the flow. If they favorited it already, then the next tier above that would be actually sending like a DM of the business to your friends.
I like that. We could automatically check them in.
We could automatically check them in for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
we could actually do that within moments of the transaction.
That's the feature I like the most.
That's funny. Like if I go to Starbucks and then it just like it just checks me in and it tells my friends that I'm there.
Yeah.
I don't love that. From a privacy standpoint, I actually check into most places when I'm leaving.
Yeah, well, I think it would be when you leave because it's after you transact.
presumably.
Yeah. I mean, we could always delay it too, you know.
We could hit them
Yeah,
with a
that's-
pop-up and let them choose, right?
They'd have,
Second.
they'd have to be in the app.
They would.
True.
That's right. Yeah.
But
Well, we could send them a push. We could send them a push notification, a trigger.
Yeah, I mean, that's
It's,
kind of my original idea is just, yeah, like, don't forget to check in.
Right, right.
But obviously there's way more engagement and value in us checking them in. But would there be a backlash to that?
if I got checked in by an app, I would delete the app and be like really, really, really upset.
Even if it was like after you left?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like people. In fact, but
What was that?
there's been times I've wanted to check in recently when I'm in certain areas, and just because of like my old neighbor, for example, watching me, I'm very conscious of what I check into.
Yeah. Okay. So we send them a push right away. Don't forget to check in.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, from my perspective, not knowing how things work inside of the app, that seems pretty low tier, easy to accomplish, because we basically have and just for you know, Jerry and Ishmael, everybody else who's listening to me, just say this is easy. The way that it works is with the Square API, we can utilize both the API and webhooks, depending on what we're trying to gather, to have them automatically send us transactional data for all of the customers that make purchases at their business. So as an example, I'm going to be going to a business on Friday called Threadco. They're going to be the first company that we officially integrate with Square. And when we're done, the amount of permissions that we gain in their Square account is such that they will send us the contents and customer information for every single transaction that occurs at their business. When the transaction is complete and we receive that, I can't recall if it's an API call or a webhook. I think it's a webhook. When we receive that information, we can run a script on our end that basically says, okay, this phone number just experienced a transaction with this business ID. Now let's just do some basic checks on our end. Have they favorited it yet? No? Okay, great. Let's hit them with a push or a text or whatever to favorite that business. And then again, they already have favorited it. They already did check in. Well, then we hit them with another one, which is don't forget to share this with your friends or whatever. But basically, the entire flow is getting triggered by the Square API. So the work on our end is not all that crazy.
This is very exciting because there's so many frontiers here. The more I'm talking about too, I'm thinking we probably need to lay down some designs to get a visual of like what does it look like.
Yeah, I was actually kind of hoping today that when we do the meeting today that we could whiteboard out basically some of the possibilities, because I'm with you, like it really opened a new world of possibilities when we realized what level of data we can capture from Square.
Right.
And yeah, I think we definitely are going to have to talk about what makes the most sense to take advantage of first. And I think that the low tier, what we're talking about, integrating discounts, well, it's actually not low tier. This is kind of complicated, the discount thing, but it has the highest value, I think. So doing that first makes sense. And then after that, a reputation funnel. But then after that, there's other things we could do too, because we can even collect transactional data of like what was purchased and the value of the purchase. And depending on the value, we could have different flows.
Right. Fantastic. Okay, yeah. So maybe we'll also include Chantel in some of the design work too, to lay out some outlines of, because there's one thing we can wireframe it, but also it'd be good to see like what does it look like to more visually, like especially the sharing aspect. When you mentioned that, I really like the idea, because that's so in the spirit of what that text message is. Would you recommend this business to your friends? That's what we ask already.
Yeah, I went down the rabbit hole a bit with Jeff on this yesterday. This is, I'm sorry in advance to all of our developers when you hear me say this, but we were talking about even using a form of AI to interpret what they purchased and make recommendations of what to say to the person based on the actual transaction that occurred. So like if they bought, a strawberry coffee or something, you could technically, we don't need to know all of their products. We don't have to make decisions on it. We could make recommendations using chatbots to say like, hey, do you want to send this message to your friends that also like this business? I mean, there's a ton of integration possibilities there.
Right. Okay, cool. I mean, were you gonna share your screen?
Yeah, sure.
So let's take a look at this real quick and see if anything jumps out before we get together later this afternoon.
Sounds good.
But yeah, I want to kind of see the flow we have so far. Plus, I want to see it too. I haven't seen it since yesterday.
I'll be opening the app from a deep link. Normally, this user, this is gonna be like the first time a user open the app through a deep link.
Do you need an actual deep link now, or you have one?
No, I have one.
Oh, okay, perfect. So this would be like the one Jerry will create.
No, this is in the case if a user has the app installed in his device, because in case if the user first time installing the app, it will not really be the deep link that's doing the work, because if you don't have the app installed, the deep link will not be carried on after the app installed. That's why we have this all. That's what's about the user action queue. This is what it's all about. Like to save all these actions queues that leads to an app installation, and that's handled as well. When a user finishes signed in, I fetch the user actions queue, and if there is any action queue that's related to this flow, it will be redirecting to user to finish that flow. That's why, that's why I was asking from Jay to add me one so I can test it.
Okay.
You want me to? I'll add it in now for.
For now, no, we don't need it now.
Okay.
We do. We don't have to do it now to test the flow.
Yeah.
I'm writing down a note. I just had pause right here for a second. I mean, but I want to run this by Jerry. Once this hits right here is good. Okay, cool. All right, good so far. So good with everything. But I don't want to forget this idea. Hey, Jerry.
Yep.
You know how we're having trouble? Like, how do we identify the user? If, like, say, I scan a QR code at the business, how do we know that's them when they go through the process and we're thinking IP address? I had an idea that maybe would make it much more accurate. Would be, let's say I scan the QR code, it opens up a landing page, and there's a countdown timer. And now we have their IP address, but we say like this whole process basically is only good for the next 2 minutes. That way, we're like really high probability they stay on that same IP address. Wouldn't that make it a lot more closer to 100%?
Well, that's kind of the logic I'm doing right now. We're just going to make it more visible to the user. I'm already having it like time-stamped. But yeah, it would give a lot more emphasis that this is an action they should complete now.
Yeah, but isn't it a problem though if they leave the Wi-Fi, like then the IP address is lost, right?
Well, yeah, if they leave the Wi-Fi, but you're saying that if they get on the landing page and then they see a timer that
Yeah.
says do this in like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean that's going to give them like. I feel like that's going to give them reason to go through it. But yeah, if they like move around, yeah, they'll lose their IP address. But what I'm saying, what I already have in place is basically that it just doesn't have the countdown. Like the countdown's on the back end. We're just making the countdown visible from the front end.
Is the timestamp accurate? Like if they scan the QR code, and then also by the time the Square point of sale system finds out when they scanned it, is it an accurate timestamp?
I haven't worked with Square, but I mean, I know what time they access the QR code.
Yeah.
Square won't know when a user scans a QR code because there's nothing to store in Square's database when they scan it.
Let's look into that, like what you can do with QR codes with Square, because I'm sure that you can do something.
The only way to store data in their database is to have data to give them. And we don't have any data to give them. If the user scans a QR code, yeah, right, but that doesn't fit their existing table structure. Timestamp for what? They don't have timestamps for QR codes. They have timestamps for customer creation, which is the only data that we can write to their database. We can't write a customer until we actually have their first name, last name, and phone number. So there's nothing we can actually write to them until we have all the customer's information.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it more. But I was thinking there might be a way to keep it like in a short window of time to make it more accurate too.
I do think that that's a good idea. The 2-minute countdown, and maybe we play around with the timing on it, but it does encourage the user. I mean, even so much as driving away from the business and switching cell towers could risk an IP change.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, let's talk about it more. But okay, go ahead and continue. I mean.
Yeah, just to this. So if a user tries to do any other action, it's gonna be this here.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So if your user perform a hard favorite, it's done. You can see user back.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice and smooth.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. So and then you're back in the onboarding. So did you catch that, Ian? So basically,
yeah, it was pretty good. I like it.
Very early on onboarding, and then it'll continue. But then we have to account for those two scenarios. If the user has the app installed and they have favorited already, or if they don't have the app installed and they've also favorited already. I guess that's going to be. Well, is that going to be on the front end then to like take them on a different flow?
Back end, because we're going to send them a completely different link at that point. There might be some front end work you decide to do later, but this originates with a back end change.
So you don't have to really be concerned about those scenarios, I mean?
No, because if we know that the user has not signed up for Sircles, then the flow that you just looked at is what we send. But if they are even an existing user of Sircles, we have to consider a different flow, which is that they just go directly to the business. Then we need to check before we send them the link, have they already favorited this business? It's a really easy check for us to do. So if they're an existing user and they haven't favorited the business, then we send them a different link. If they're an existing user and they have, again, a different link. So we prepare for 3 different, completely different scenarios. And all of that is triggered by the back end.
I see. Okay, cool. Okay, well then we'll map that out more. And I mean, the branch, you have a different branch where these buttons are in a different place, right, in the text?
Yeah, that's all merged in the development.
Okay. And then when you're done with this PR, you'll let Ismail know so he can.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. When that's done, Ismail, could you get us a build as early as possible today that we can test with?
Yeah,
Production or QA?
Well, let's go production because these are really small changes. And then we'll push it. We'll release it if it's all good.
Okay, sounds good.
Nice. Okay. Then all right. Well, I'll start getting ready to head down. What are you working on next, Amin?
I'll need to finish up this and also review Ismail's PR. And I have next to look into the issue of like if a user has a critical update and it was coming in and it was coming from a deep link and it got interrupted by the critical update. We need to save whatever he was trying to do so we bring the user back there.
Okay. And then after that, maybe we go with a build with the Lottie library update.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. I need to send you there's one Lottie that was adjusted, the one with the hearts, like my favorite. So
okay,
you'll need that, right? But then so far it seems like the other ones are working well. When you sent me the list though, I don't think you had any of the badge animations in there, or did you?
No, the badge animations are yeah, they are there. Like they're there.
In the list? Okay.
Yeah.
There's hundreds.
We don't have all of them.
That's true.
We have only a few, like
but wasn't the list you said, wasn't it like only like 40 something total of all?
no, like the zip file that I sent you, it has like really a lot, like more than 100 if I remember.
Okay, so that includes the badge animations.
Yeah, badges, levels, and yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, it looks like we'll have to keep going through some of the rest of them, but I'll send you any ones we change. And then it looks like Will's just got here, and so I wanted to see if we can maybe even get that PR in, but it depends. So Will's, where are you with the changes you were making?
Yeah, so Amit provided me with the next offset that is required for implementing the solution that Ismail did on the profile screen that prevents the duplicate of the items on front end. But I'm still implementing that. I'm having some issues with the flat list and replicating everything from Ismail side of things. So I'm working on that, but the backend should be fine.
Okay, you said you're still having issues?
Yeah, I am translating. So I had basically a scroll view with the components being rendered, and I'm translating that to a flash list and implementing the stuff that is nailed on the profile screen, so we avoid having duplicates. So I'm in transition of changing the code to this new style of things.
Do you want to maybe show Amin and Ismail where you're at right now, just so they might have input, make sure you're not going on a path too far in the wrong direction, but why don't you give them a summary? I'd like to get their feedback on it to see where you're at so far.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Let me share the screen.
Thank you.
So Ismail, now we should have the next offset and the stuff we need, just like in the profile screen. I was checking here, though I couldn't pinpoint exactly what is preventing the items to not be duplicated.
Okay, so if you go to the profile, yeah, you see how the function, you see that await on line 188?
Oh, here?
Yeah. So what's going to happen is it's not going to call fetch more, therefore update query until fetch more is done. Sorry, not fetch more. It's not the on line 192. That's where the update query happens, right?
Yeah.
So think about it this way. like if fetch more is not done, how can it call update query?
I see.
Yeah.
But wouldn't the update query be called already once we have a return from this, even without the await?
So the first time it gets called, so you're gonna open the screen, and then fetch more is gonna get called for the first time. It's gonna wait until it finishes. It's gonna update the query, and then now you're gonna have a new value for the offset.
I see.
Right.
So I should have exactly basically this logic here on end reach and this kind of.
Yeah. So it would be literally the same thing, except you would just change like for example, the variables, or you would change, your update query. You would just use yours instead of mine. But the most important thing is just to have that await the fetch more. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Because if you don't await for fetch more, it could potentially keep going. It'll go down to the next line of code with the old offset, and that would create duplicates.
Okay, and this on-end threshold, what is the number you have seen that works better? I have seen only that 0.8 and 0.5. Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, 0. Like this is just how much of the screen is visible. So, what do we use normally? Like if you just global search that, what do we normally use?
I have seen 0.8 a lot, but there is some variations. See.
Well, let's look at the newer code. Like for example, the discovery. What's the discovery?
Discovery. Wait a second.
Discovery. I said discovery. Yeah.
Oh, selected organisms.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's just how much you want to scroll. I guess 0.8 or 0.5 is fine.
Okay, yeah, let's keep like that.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. So the next thing I gotta do is I gotta instead of having this as the header, having this as the render item. But for these to be the render item, I have the info to have the proper data. So instead of just putting in the array, I have to do this logic that groups 3 items to be there. So yeah.
I just wanted something in chat, like kind of a defect. I'm gonna send you Ismail. I'll send it in Slack. Maybe not too complicated.
Also, just I ended up uploading like a bunch of it's the same video over and over because I'm doing the upload, so I'm testing it under different conditions. I don't know if it matters or not, but it's probably going to be taking up a lot of like cloud space. I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but if it is, we can just delete them.
Okay. Hopefully, I assume we have plenty of space, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be too crazy. You know,
On space and Cloudinary, but
also just something I did notice is that when we are uploading to Cloudinary, the APIs tend to be a little slower. Is that normal? I don't know if it's the server in general or. But while it's uploading,
you're talking about Cloudinary's API, right?
Well, no, I guess we are uploading to Cloudinary's API. I think my app just gets a little slow.
Yeah, because you're not touching our back end now. You're going straight.
Correct. That is true. That's a good point. Yeah, maybe my phone's just acting slow. I don't know.
I just found another bug. Can you tell me if you can recreate this, Ismail? The more details button is not giving me more details.
The more details.
On an event.
Oh, I never fixed that, did I? Okay. Yeah. Selecting that one. That one's it's been a problem. I fixed for it is easy. I just never got to it. I'm never looking at it.
Okay, I'll send you that. And there was another one just about the naming.
So what's the problem with the one you sent me? The first one?
First one is like, so that group has over 1,000 people in it, but it's like shared with Amit, Todd. Like that's not gonna be relevant to 1,000 people. It should just say shared with and the group name, because the group has a name, 916 area events.
Yeah. Okay. I remember something about that. I remember I did it in the compose screen, but I guess it's not doing it here, which is because they're two different cards.
Right, and then probably also the preview card, you'd have to do it there too.
What's that?
The preview card as well, you probably have to apply it there as well.
Yeah, okay. And I think the preview and the compose are the same card.
Okay.
You can double check that now. Maybe they're not. I'll have to.
So that more,
yeah.
How long has that more details button not been working?
I know it wasn't working in the last build we had from like 2.2.
Shit.
So yeah, let me fix that as soon as possible. Yeah, I remember Chantal pointed it out, and I was like, yeah, I'll get to it, and then I got distracted.
Okay. Yeah, let's try and knock out the little bugs first.
Yeah, I'll have that. I'll add that to my other PR.
Okay, sounds good. Also, these buttons aren't like really positioned equally. Like if you look at the buttons here, I just sent you Swag. There's the button on the right is closer, it has less margin.
Well, yeah, that one I had to do for two reasons. So I made it more dynamic because, well, first of all, the text is bigger and it has to be centered compared to the text. So the not going, the icon has to be centered compared to the not going. And now, if you remember, we're adding like the count of each one. So that would make it even longer. So I have to keep shifting that SVG to basically stay centered within the text, or else it'll look weird. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to change the logic on that, on how that's like centered.
Okay. So it's centered by the text, or
well, the SVG is going to be in the middle of the text. Yeah. So if you look at going. Like you see the G, the last G in going and the N and not going.
Yeah.
They're spaced the same thing apart from the border.
Yeah.
But the difference is that the chevron or the SVG has to be in the center of the text, or else it'll look weird.
Yeah.
So that's where you get that behavior. And then I made it where it's dynamic because that text can also grow or shrink
Yeah.
based off of people click it or not, like people are going or not going, so on.
I see. Well, okay, here's the thing. The solution, and I don't know how easy this is, but the solution is the text should always be centered under the button, and if there's a number, the number juts out to the right. So it doesn't need to be centered based on the full text string, including the number.
I see what you mean, but that would also make it look a little weird.
Well, we're doing that right now on the landing page for our reputation funnel. Like the Sircles has a trademark symbol next to it. Like we don't count that as like center justifying, because otherwise it moves the whole thing over to the left. And same with the get this app button has a little I info button next to it. That also.
Well, yeah, but that still also wouldn't change the fact that not going is longer than going.
That's true, but you could hard code now the position of all of it.
Yeah, but it still won't solve that specific problem you're talking about.
Why not?
Because not going is longer than going. Therefore, there's going to be more space.
But not if we place it permanently, hard coded, not.
I get it, but we'll place it where? Like, so.
I think the button itself.
So either the text itself would not be in equivalent distance from the edge, or the chevron.
Yeah, as long as the button is perfectly centered over the text, I think that's fine. And then it doesn't matter how long the text is, the buttons themselves should be perfectly centered. So the question mark, if you're looking at this screen, you know how you have the question mark on the maybe button? That should be perfectly down the center, no matter how long the text underneath it is. And then equal distance on the left and the right should be the X and the check mark.
Yeah. Okay. Let me think about that one. I'll get to that later.
Okay. There's a couple other things. Are they the same? Are the buttons the same size too?
They are, yeah.
It seems like the question mark's smaller, but it might be my imagination. Let me see. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it's just I have a way to look. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, but on the one I'm looking at, there's a 1 next to the maybe, and then when I tapped on see who's going, there's no names.
Well,
let me see if that's the only one doing that.
Well, that one see who's going, so it'll only show you the going. It won't show you the maybe.
No, it always showed the maybes.
Oh, it did show the maybes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we checked.
Actually, I found one where it's going and maybe and not going, and no names are showing. So I guess what I'm saying is none of the names are showing.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at that too. I remember we were using we made some tweaks to the API to get those numbers in. So maybe that one got affected somehow, some way. So
okay, I'm glad I'm checking this out. We definitely need a build release then, because these are major defects. The more I'm digging, because we're doing these events weekly, multiple events per week. And if they tap the button, see who's going, it's blank. Among the details being not there and other things. So
yeah,
let me get you shift gears then, and let's get these knocked out. And maybe that'll be good timing for Wells. How much more time do you think you need, Wells, to finish?
Half a day, I think.
Okay. then that'll maybe be good timing. So, as soon as you're ready, let Ismail know so he can review your PR, and then Ismail, if you can make those changes here, and we'll get that production build.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. But yeah, as far as the centering too, do you follow what I'm saying there, Ismail?
Yeah, I do. I think I have a good idea. So basically,
Yeah, I would
yeah, I'll
start.
have to have enough spacing where they're all like perfectly centered. They're all like 3 lines where that would cross those SVGs, and then the text would just work around that.
Yeah. Yeah, the text should always be centered under the button, but not including the numbers. The numbers would extend to the right. Just the text, not going maybe and going, that should be centered under the button. And then the button should be centered, anchored. This question mark should be centered at the absolute middle of the page. And then maybe centered underneath that. And then the one I'm looking at, there's a 4 next to it. That 4 would stick out to the right of maybe, and the button, and that's okay. Well, okay then. Wells, do you have any more questions here?
Nope. So far, so good.
Okay. Alrighty. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, how can we make it really easy for RAD listeners to listen to the app live in the app?
Oh yeah, that was another thing. Wait, we did get that in.
Like live, or listen to episodes?
I can give you the live feature. Would be super easy as long as we have a front end player.
We have a front end player.
Cool. I have an embedded stream I can feed to it.
Well, let's open the app real quick and go to RAD. Let's check it out. So I'm gonna search podcast. There's RAD. Okay, so there's a play button there, which brings up a modal of episodes.
Don't miss Good American Family.
We have a little girl here. Josh, and she was divorced.
Starring Ellen Pompeo and Mark Duplass.
Something is off.
What did you click on to get to that?
I'm not going to tell you. I moved it forward and it stopped playing. Why? And why is there a spin?
Just to confirm, you didn't leave the app, right?
Correct. I'm having trouble with this though. Damn it.
And this is in production?
In production. Yeah. I'm going to share my screen.
You'll figure it out, Ian.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to show you how to do it, but I do want to show some potential issues here.
Set this whole thing, and the biggest problem I saw of the whole thing is this was all guaranteed money. Prior to this, nobody guaranteed the contract in the NFL. You had the numbers, but it was all.
So that's one episode. You haven't figured it out yet, Ian?
Either mine is broken or I'm an idiot.
Well, you might not be updated, but where? Okay, so first of all, where
I searched for podcasts, searched for RAD, found RAD, clicked on it.
Okay.
I see details and I see episodes. I click on episodes and I'm tapping everywhere I can think of other than the ART19 links, which make me leave the app. And nothing seems to initiate a player.
Okay, yeah, there is a bug here too.
Yeah.
But okay, without going to episodes and just looking at the main profile page for RAD, is there a play button in the center?
Oh, that's funny. I thought it was part of the screenshot and we had a bad image.
Oh, that's okay. But yeah, it's another bug here. Steam.
That was working just recently because I was using it.
It was working.
Yeah, okay, I'm streaming them now. I see. Yeah, the play button. I thought their profile image had it as a mistake.
No, they all do now. Podcasts all have.
Oh,
And in
that's
fact,
true.
all movies and shows have it because you can play a trailer.
It's interesting. It doesn't. Ugh, I don't like it. I feel like we should put up the word play somewhere.
Well, this one is like obviously not as clear because it's like almost the same color, but if you look at other examples, it's quite prominent right in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think.
I agree with you that it is prominent. I don't know. I mean, obviously,
I've seen session replays where people watch the trailers.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't. I just immediately, like, I even noticed it, and I was like, oh, that's weird. We got a bad screenshot. And then I moved on to the episode section. We have a huge space above favorited by that's completely unused.
Mm-hmm.
It would be good to populate that. That would be a perfect place for it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So put this play button there.
Either that or a piece of text that says "listen here" or something like that. Where are we streaming them from? What's the source that we're getting the actual audio from for the podcasts?
I don't know where our podcast API lives.
It's either going to be Apple or Google, I assume, or I'm sorry, Apple or Spotify.
Yeah, one of those. I don't know.
I'm not sure why I haven't noticed this before, but in the Play Store version for Android 2205, when I'm searching entertainment,
you're going to learn this.
What's that?
Sorry, I think you're going through the same thing I went through the other day just because, but go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, just every time I start typing, the app crashes. Get that critical error when I start typing in the search field for entertainment.
And you're in the production bill?
Correct.
Well, now we got all kinds of problems. I just sent this one another one for podcast. What is going on? The wheels are coming off. Okay. And I found other issues with these podcasts too that I want to go back through these, but okay. So if I go through the wheel to search, is that what you're saying?
Right. If I do the search from the menu bar at the bottom of the screen, and go to entertainment, and turn the wheel to anything.
Okay. How about movies?
Let me check movies. So I'll search. Oh no, maybe movies works.
Which one didn't work?
Podcasts and.
I tried podcasts.
Let me try another one. Try shows.
And it crashes when you type.
Yeah, as soon as I start typing like 1, 2, 3 letters, then I get a critical error occurred.
Okay, so
shows.
What version of the app are you on?
The Play Store version 2205.
Oh, okay, Chantel, can you confirm that?
I got it in a session replay. It says value for URI cannot be cast from double to string.
Okay, well, obviously. The Google Play Store version?
Oh, the Google Play Store version. Okay, let me.
It seems like, is it an Android thing, Jerry?
Well, I see it says native type exception, so possibly.
Because I am not having that problem on my iPhone.
Okay, yeah, I only see it on Android. Yeah, it's only on Android. Danny's getting a different issue. It says undefined is not a function.
Well, shit, I thought we were going to be wrapping up a little earlier here. What's the cause there, Jerry? Is that the we need to get the
Front end.
Okay. Let's see who worked on that. I think Wells worked on it. Wells,
I'm here.
if you get an Android simulator and try and type in the podcast search, like, so if you come through the search bar on the nav bar, search and then entertainment, and then spin the wheel around a podcast and search. I think, is it crashed on you?
Let me see. I'm opening it right now.
Okay.
And shows as well.
And shows as well? Okay.
Yeah, movies and video games don't seem to do it.
Okay. So Ian, I'm becoming a multitasker. So if I were to go to podcasts and put the play button that after you go to episodes, notice that, well, when you tap on a play button and then tap pick an episode, that big pink play button, you think that should go there where the empty space is?
I'm going back to that spot. So I'm on podcasts and then I clicked on episodes. And where did you say?
And then, yeah, the episodes won't open, but like just hit the play button on the image. And then
the
pick,
top?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Pick an episode.
Yep.
Yeah,
you don't, yeah, I would think that, that, so when I click the play button and it loads the list of episodes, I would have assumed that we could have integrated a play button where the rad radio icon is on the left side, put a big play button over that, and then if I hit play, it would expand the height of that episode and start playing right from this list rather than needing to go to a separate page entirely. Same thing if I clicked on episode.
At the beginning of what you're saying.
So here, actually, shoot, I don't know how to share my screen. But I have to set it up. So yeah, if I click on the play button and I bring up the episode list.
Okay, episode, yeah, drawer, yeah.
On the left side of this list drawer, there is a repetitive image because every podcast has the same image. Therefore, the image is useless. We've already seen it. You could replace that with the play button, and you could play from right here.
Mm-hmm. You can play from here. It's just, oh wait a minute.
You can't. It takes you to another screen.
That's interesting, doesn't it?
It doesn't need to, I don't think.
Oh, well, it does because sometimes they have really long descriptions.
Yeah, okay, I could see that.
I mean, it could have a play button instead of the image. But then if you tap the text, it takes you to the next screen.
Right.
I like that idea.
The other thing is, before clicking the play button in the middle of the profile image on the actual card, we have an episodes tab at the bottom. And to me, that seems like an equally logical place to play them from.
From where?
The episodes tab below the list of people who have favorited it and check in and share, love it. Right beneath that, we have details and episodes.
Yeah.
That's the area that I was attempting to play it from.
Yeah, so instead of the rad radio icon, you have a play button?
Yeah, right.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
But also, I mean, I think probably the biggest thing is that we have all that wasted space above the list of people who have favorited it. And I didn't even realize, like, I would have never even considered that I could play them from here, that this could be my source of listening to podcasts.
And then I want to improve on that. So what about the pink button? Put it there?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Even if the pink button only did something as simple as showing
the list, because you wouldn't know which one to play.
Right, I understand. Yeah, we could, that might be a good action to pull up the card.
Drawer.
Because now, the drawer, because then that is, okay, I pressed the play button, now I'm looking at a list of episodes, so clearly this is the place that I'm going to play them from.
Yeah, okay. I can do that. What's up?
I was going to say, for the live listening thing, I have what's called the direct stream URL that I can provide that it's a pretty universal format for live stream audio. And if we just had a button of some kind that says like listen live, It's 24/7. They're always running audio.
Oh yeah, one second. I want to hear more about that. I'm still taking some notes. One more note. Okay. So what now?
Well, as far as listening live,
Yeah.
yeah, if you were, I don't know exactly the best place to put the listen live button, but I mean, if you made it like a red button that said listen live now or something like that, and then opened up a player, it shouldn't be terribly complicated considering we already have a built-in player.
What happens when the listen live button is there and then there's nothing live on?
They uniquely broadcast 24/7. There's never a period of time where there's not audio coming from their listen live broadcast. They play, they have like best of shows that run constantly.
I see.
That said, you could write logic that removes the listen live button during their non-traditional hours. If let's say it was some other show, that would be a way you could accomplish that, is to designate the hours that the button appears. Yeah, but in Rad's case, it's pretty easy because it is 24/7.
Okay. Well, given the circumstances now, maybe this would be a really good time to have a listen live button that we promote live. Or not just like promote everywhere, promote on social media, promote in many channels as possible.
I agree. I have some thoughts on that, but I should wait till you guys are here to share all positive, just ideas I don't want to put in this format.
Y'all going on air soon?
Hopefully, yeah. This is planned.
We can send out a notification blast.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's how you listen to it. Like, is that page deep linkable? Do we have a deep link to the listen live?
We could, right, Ian?
I'm sorry, one more time.
So we could have, I guess the question really for Amina or Ismail, if we could have a deep link to the listen live, we could almost have just when we send out a notification, we can have that deep link. They click it and then they automatically go to the live player or Rad Radio.
I mean, yeah, we can. Depends on how.
So there's a pretty big consideration that I don't know if we've done with regards to listening live. Applications that have live streaming audio, in order for them to have even a mediocre user experience, there are some considerations that we need to make. For example, if I connect my phone to my car stereo and I'm listening to the live audio, which is the way that probably 90% of users experience the live audio currently, if you put your phone to sleep, the audio needs to continue playing. And that's a feature of the native application that allows iOS and Android to let audio continue to play through your phone while the phone is in a sleep state.
Yeah, I feel like we actually had to fill out some disclosure with Google to do that, right?
Correct. That sounds right.
Okay, but we can do it.
If we can accomplish that, then I can't really talk about it here. I'll tell you guys. I'm sorry. I'll tell you guys more when I see you. But ultimately, this is potentially a very good solution for a number of reasons.
Great. I like good solutions.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's do that. So, Wells, did you recreate the problem on your Android?
No, really, my Android wasn't working, so I am rebuilding for it.
Okay.
Granted, it is some new stuff, so I am rebuilding it, and as soon as it's cool, I will have it working here.
Okay. Okay. Let me know when you have it built.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Look, do you have any more questions at the moment? Ismail?
Yeah.
Sorry, Wells?
No, so far so good. By the way, I made the flash list work. The loading seems to be really cool. I will be testing the duplicates as soon as this thing here finishes building.
Okay. Okay, great. Look forward to seeing that. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen now. And then Ismail, I had a couple questions. Turn off that. What's up, something?
So I am on the Android version that's currently in the app. And a couple things that I noticed is one, when I first went to my own favorite, it said undefined instead of having my profile picture and or anything about me. It just said undefined. I have a screenshot of that. And then the other thing was if I go to check-in from the nav bar and I go to see all, it just has the name up. I thought we got that fixed.
Shit. Okay, I don't know about some of these. Ismail's got about 10 things I'm giving him to fix. Let's see what it means.
I can put these in trouble.
No, I want all these fixes today. I want them in our production build today. I don't think any of them are like crazy. Maybe you could send those to Amin. Amin, are you available to look at a couple defects Chantel found?
Yeah, sure. Just consider it.
Okay.
Okay.
What was the first one again, Chantel?
The first one was when I went to my favorites from my profile. Instead of having my profile picture, it just said undefined.
Okay. Let's start with that one. I mean, I think that was actually something you worked on.
Okay.
Potentially. Okay. And then what was the second one, Chantel?
The other one was if I go to check-in from the nav bar, and then I go to see all, I don't get any results. I thought we fixed that.
I don't know. Will's working on that one right now.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Then
But yeah, we'll start.
disregard.
Let's look at that first one. I mean, and then Ismail, I have a couple questions about this. Why does the play button, this pink one, when I come here, why does it have a loader on it? Maybe we should have the loader like after I tap play. Because what happened is the first time I came here, it lasted like 10 seconds. It's faster now.
It's loaded something, but I have to double check it.
But it's probably queuing up the audio necessary for the actual stream. That way when you tap the play button.
Yeah, but I don't need to know that right now. And I didn't know it was a play button. And if it lasts 10 seconds, no one would even know that's a play button.
Agreed.
You have to see what that loader is for. But I'll make him. I guess when they click it, it'll start loading instead of at the beginning.
Yeah, after I tap it, it should. Then it could do the spinner.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a note on that. We don't need the spinner. My writing.
I hope that you save all of these images that you write text on, because it'll be really fun to fill like a 100-foot tall wall with all of your little scribbles.
I do delete ones that get changed, but not all. I mean, I have like probably thousands.
That would be a really fun thing to make at some point.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, they're in Slack too, so they can definitely.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so that was one question. Oh yeah, I sent you this, right? Like this, these aren't pulling up. Can you tell what's happening here?
I'm not sure what. I'll look into that.
So maybe I could have a meeting looking at that. I want to divide our forces a little bit because I know you got a few things in the chat and events.
John, you identified that the more button does load it though, right? Or open it.
It doesn't for me.
The more
expands it.
No, it just expands it.
Oh, is that not what it's supposed to do?
So right, I don't know what's happening, but like John, I'm seeing the same thing on my end. I have to hit that play button at the top there on the red radio
Yeah.
for it to pull up that same list again you were just looking at, and then it plays from there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this one should pull up. Well, actually, it should pull up this screen here.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's some extra step, it seems like.
So I mean, maybe this one I could give you. If you look at podcasts, these are not pulling up the episode. I'm under the episodes tab here, and it's not opening like this would be, like these open. Is that something pretty easy you could fix for us? I mean, did you hear me? Is it me here? I mean, right there.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you catch any of that?
no.
Oh, okay. Sorry to interrupt you, but I was thinking maybe you could help us get these to load also. They load from here.
Mm-hmm.
Should bring you here, but
So when you press on them, nothing happens.
yeah.
And in the drawer, what happens in the drawer? Like if you
It'll pull up the episode. Right here.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I can fix that.
Okay, let me send that to you. I'll take it away from Ismail because he's got a few other things to do.
So does that whole step need to be eliminated, John? From when you press that play button on the rad radio picture up there? Like you shouldn't do anything necessarily, right?
Well, you need to pull up episodes. Well, we're
Are
gonna
the episodes already in front of you?
You would have to. It's not as discoverable. You have to come over to this tab.
Right. I see.
It. But even Ian didn't see this button here. So he suggested we go with this. Well, I suggested this one, and he suggested the position. Why don't we take that button and put it right here?
Yeah, if I could, just one other suggestion real quick. We currently have two different views for what is effectively the same content. Oh shit, look at the bottom of your screenshot synopsis, the Rob Anybody ampersand Dawn show. We are not
probably a back end thing.
Yeah, just as a thought, I don't know if anybody has noticed that yet. But we have a card that comes up that allows us to play, but it really seems redundant to me. I think that if you tap that play button, that we're suggesting maybe putting above the favorites or the play button that currently exists. It would make a lot more sense to me for us to simply navigate them to the episodes list, which is already on this page. It just switches over to that tab and moves the view up so that they can see those, and we can play them from there rather than having to have a dedicated card to play the audio.
Yeah, what you're describing is probably a better experience, but it's also like 10 times more difficult to achieve.
Is it? It's okay. I have no idea. It seemed similar.
Instead of putting a play button there, what if because you're not really playing anything by pressing that, you're just being taken to another place. Would something like listen or listen now be more compelling or no?
I'm kind of in agreement with that.
I mean, that's pretty compelling, that button.
If it was on the other screen, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I realize that. I think I'm taking nominal steps of trying to improve it, which might not be worth it. Well, I agree.
It's not as accurate because it's not really going to play.
Right.
But it definitely stands out.
Apple does a play button at the top of the episode screen that says has the play icon and it says latest episode. I love that. That's really good.
That screenshot?
Yeah.
Because we used to have it. Is it what you're talking about, like up here? Because we used to have it up there.
No, also I'm sending it to you right now. It's a very different layout, but we can still kind of take from this concept. I just texted it to you.
Okay. Let me send this to me first.
Don, I have a question for the flow favorite thing. So in case if a user has the app installed, we will like when he's gonna press the favorite, it's gonna play the heart animation directly, right?
Yes.
And
You said in what was the question preceding that?
like if a user invited by a business and the app is already installed, so who will be taken directly to the profile?
Well,
Right.
yeah. If the app's already installed, right, it'll take them directly to the profile. Yeah.
Yeah. So and we will do the same flow. Like when he's gonna press the favorite button, it's gonna play the heart
Yeah.
animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shortcut. So
Yeah.
right now, I'll rely on this from the deep link,
Uh-huh.
and the deep link is not that unique. And I remember, like Jerry mentioned, and if the profile is already claimed, the business is already claimed, we're gonna do this. Just wanted to confirm this. So in case
What
the app,
are you wanting to confirm?
yeah, like if the user has the app installed,
Yeah.
I will need to know because in that case, I'll need something to know to play the shortcut favorite. And normally I would rely on the deep link, but the deep link is not unique. Like we use it in other flows as well. So, yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Does every deep link is unique, right?
Just yeah, we in this flow we used another one, the one that takes you to the profile. Like I had like a small discussion with Jerry about it, and it was like we can just reuse that. There's no need to introduce new deep link.
But now we need a new deep link, is what you're saying, right?
Make it unique because in this case I would not know how because I wouldn't.
Yeah. So you're saying you're realizing you need a new unique.
Yeah, and Jerry was like it was like there's no need to. We in this case we can
Okay.
just see if the profile is claimed.
Yeah. But so that's not going to be sufficient. So Jerry, did you follow? We need to know, because of the fact that favorite flow is also cut short, there has to be a more unique deep link to know that.
So, wait, not sure.
Not to know it, but to trigger the short version of our favorite.
Are we talking about like for a podcast?
No, for when we send the reputation funnel text user and we say, do you recommend our business? Yes, no. And they say yes, but they already have the app. We're going to still take them deep link to the business profile immediately. So let's see what that looks like. If I were to, so for Carmelita's restaurant here, I have the app closed. I tap a text message, and then I tap the link in the text message, opens my app, opens me Carmelita's. Here, we're not going to do the full favorite flow where I pick categories and everything. And so Amin is saying for us to do that short version where it's basically just a heart tap and that's it. He needs a unique deep link. The way he was doing it was the way you suggested wasn't unique enough.
Yeah, wait, let's discuss this further. So Carmelita's, and you want Carmelita's to use the quick link?
Not the quick favorite flow.
You want them to use the quick favorite?
Yeah, well, the user. So typically, if I were to come in here to a business I don't have favorited, I would get this screen. We're skipping the screen entirely.
Correct.
You know, and then we're skipping this screen entirely because the categories are already picked. So for Amin to know to do that, right, Amin, you need something?
Yeah. Only because the deep link that we use right now is like used in other places as well. And that will cause that shortcut favorite to happens in other flows as well. So it's not gonna be
Yeah, just help me understand this, because I thought we were gonna pretty much apply this across the board to profiles that were claimed. that we were gonna do this quick favorite flow if they were claimed.
Is that true, John? Like we're gonna do the shortcut favorite for all profiles if they are claimed?
Because is
well, yeah, I mean, it's not about necessarily about if they're claimed. It's about if they receive the reputation funnel text message, right?
but they're
And those, theoretically, those would all be claimed businesses.
no,
But that doesn't mean all claimed businesses. Well, wait, okay, actually, we did talk about that. Hold on. I just got a lot on my mind. So for all claimed businesses where categories are determined, do we show the short version? We got it, but I don't know that I've really like analyzed the pros and cons, because I can think of cases where, because like on the surface it sounds like that's a great idea. Like, why bother making people pick categories if the business is claimed, if they are, business owner knows a category, but the business owner could claim their business and then be lazy and not pick categories. And I mean, obviously there'll already be like, well, no, they have, if you claim it, you're not forced to pick a category during the claim, or are you? I can't remember now.
you're not forced to pick when you claim it, but it will. Right now, by default, your business will have, I guess, the categories that were assigned to it by Google
Or by us. We have our own too.
True, Google or our database.
Yeah, and they're mostly reliable, but I can imagine not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, if the business owner did not pick a category, then and 100 people come favorite it under some weird category, maybe so. There's two possibilities. Maybe we force, or I don't like that word, but there's no option not to pick a category during claiming. I mean, we do that right here in our favoriting flow.
Yeah. Well, making them pick a category when claiming, I think that's more friction to the process of claiming.
Yeah, it is, but also it's maybe very important in the long run.
But we could send them push notifications after the fact. When they're claimed, we can nag them and say, hey, you didn't make sure you update your categories.
Still no guarantee it happens. Okay, so let's go back to what brought this up. Mm-hmm. So Amin's question. So then, if we decided to always show the short version for any claimed business, does that mean he does not need an ED link?
I'm understanding that answer is yes.
Yes, he would not need it.
Correct.
Does that sound right to you, Amin?
Yeah, because I will be looking into whether the profile is claimed or not as well.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever decision I make right now can have long-term ramifications. I mean, it's like again, on the surface, it's better. We just do the easy, streamlined favorite route, because theoretically business owner claimed it. They know what their categories are. Boom, boom, boom. Nothing to worry about. That's the ideal on the surface. So we can go with that and then deal with any issues as they come up, or do it a different way. Let's just go with it, because then it doesn't require any changes right now. So, I mean, let's go with that. We'll have the short version of it if it's a claim business, and then does that solve your issue?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay. While we talked about this, I came up with like 5 more questions, I think, and also a weird thing too. So for one thing, can you take a look at my screen? I just did the favoriting flow. This is just started happening recently. It doesn't happen every time, but if you notice this X here, that's not really the arrow.
Yeah.
It's like the X from here not going away. I think. See, now it's gone. So I can't do it every time.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of why that might be there?
I mean, um,
Where the button kind of jumps at the end too. Watch the button on the bottom, not this one, but the next one. At the oops, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Okay. The button now, the one on the bottom now. Oh, see how it popped up?
mm-hmm.
I feel like that's new too. It might be related. I don't know.
You should not be doing that
It should not be popping up, no.
because that's an animation. Like,
No. This button, none selected, that's not an animation.
no, I know, like the way how it's like into the screen, it's animated. Like,
I don't
it was
think so. Watch, it's instant.
it's coming from the bottom.
No, it's not. Look, it's like a safe zone loaded. Like something pushed it up. It's not. It's definitely not. There was no frames. There was no.
Okay.
Yeah, so something's moving it up as the
Yeah, because like through the stream, I saw it like fading in. I felt like,
the none selected button.
yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, that's how I saw it from the film.
Okay. Yeah, no. It's just like it starts basically. It starts like at the very, very bottom, like right here.
Then it pushed. It got
Yeah,
pushed.
that makes me think it's like a safe zone or something.
Okay.
I don't know if it's something with an X showing up.
Well, I can look into that. I don't know what's happening
Okay.
there.
Yeah, it's not critical. There's another little thing I'd like to look at too. I can send you these in Slack. But after I pick a category, and now when I hit the pink button, as soon as I hit this pink button, the animation plays. Well, I think what happens is first the content here drops. So like the search bar and the pill, it all drops. Then the animation plays and drops, but they're not in sync. They should drop at the same time. You'll see what I mean here. Watch. See how they weren't in sync? It was like 1, 2. Actually, yeah. So like 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd like them to drop together. I can send all this to you. These are just like quality of life things, but
Okay.
it always bugs me. Just doesn't. It's not. You can't tell as well on the Google stream, but like on the phone, it's very clearly like out of sync. Like the content drops, and then the background drops. It looks more in sync on Google stream because I'm watching it on Google as well as on my phone, but it's really out of sync, like in real time. But I'll send that one to you.
Yeah. Okay. So send them to me, and when I'm done with my task, I'll look those up.
Okay, but back to the deep link because I had another question about the streamlined favorite. Oh yeah. Okay. So maybe we do need a unique deep link. Tell me if this makes sense. So in the onboarding flow, they hit the favorite button, the heart, short version, drop right back into onboarding. Normal favorite, it goes to who else would love this place, okay? Now, that's very valuable in the case where they're favoriting a business that's been claimed, like normal, like operation app, like this business here. Let's say I didn't see this screen. Let's say I just came, straight to I just did the favoriting. At the end of it, I'd want to be able to share it. Is it, if we use this short favorite flow, is that going to now just supersede our other flow, our longer flow now every time?
Yeah, because it's the short cap.
Yeah. See what I mean though? Like just because it's a claim business, I don't want to still not share it, at the end. So we would need another exception, a condition. How would that work? How would you be able to do the next part,
I will handle it in the front end. If it's claimed, do the shortcut and like favorite and take the user to the to share.
Yeah. Okay, that is very important. We take a note on that, and that'll take priority over the other stuff we just talked about.
Okay.
Okay. So that, but and you still don't need a different deep link.
No.
Okay. Okay, so if it's a claim business, I get the short version. Let's think about how that looks. So you tap the heart. In onboarding, it says fabulous and then brings you into onboarding. In our case, you'll tap the heart, it'll do animation, and then it'll go to the screen where it's like, who else would love this, right? Or no, it's like there's a screen in between, it's got the card, and it says you favorited on the card, you know?
Yeah, we can do that.
It would be that, right? Okay. And with the drawer, with the coins. So it would just pick up at that favorite first
Mhm.
flow,
Yeah.
the share portion of it. Okay. Okay, then I think that is the majority of questions, concerns I had on that. Okay, let me make some other notes. Wow, that's fresh in my mind. I'm gonna send you a couple Slack messages. One sec.
John, it's the breakfast time.
Okay, I just sent you the last message there. So how's it going with the first PR?
I want to include those stuff we just.
Oh yeah, that is kind of in the same
Yeah.
realm. Okay, sounds good then. Yeah, let me know. I sent you the one with the podcast thing too.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, just keep us posted how it's going. And
Yeah.
we'll catch up with you later.
John, real quick, I sent you, before he drops off, I don't know if you care to address this at all, but I sent you, well, I guess he's not working on it. It was an idea about how the core flow could work. This could wait, sorry.
No worries. Okay, thanks, Amin.
Nice. Bye.
Yeah, so tell me, Ian, what you mean by this?
Well, basically, let's say that I repetitively going to a business. I've already favorited them. I'm already in Circles. I've already checked in. You know, I've done the things that we care about. But I have another transaction, and we know from our database, because of shared contact data, that some of my friends go there too. Now, we could know that because of shared contacts, or we could also know it because of just friends in the app that also like this business. But more importantly, shared contacts. Okay, so somebody goes to the business, they don't have Circles in their phone at all. They go to the business, they make a purchase. That purchase data gets sent to Circles and we store it, including the person's phone number who made a purchase at this business. They're not a Circles, they're not a Circles user, but their friend is a Circles user.
I see, yes.
Okay, so now we've established that a non-Circles user goes to the same business as a Circles user.
Yeah.
And specifically the same business that a Circles user has liked.
Yeah.
Now the flow could be, we send them an alternative path, which is, you know, maybe a text, maybe it's a push through the app that says, hey, invite your friend Sarah, who also likes this place. And all you have to do is send her the invite. And the next time she goes, she'll get $5 off her service.
Yeah. Just try and think of any scenarios where like an ex-husband, ex-wife could get notified in a way.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, that could be bad.
But maybe not. Maybe not that it would be bad, but maybe we can avoid it through friendships in the app, because that tells you everything. Well, like, but you were saying like they might not be in the app yet.